It does seem very intuitive that, because that's like split second,
Yeah.
you know, that happens. You know, you start to fall and then you start to fall again and the dog is right there the whole time.
Sure.
You know?
Well, it's interesting too because sometimes what I say at work is I'd rather have a thinking dog than an obedient dog, in the sense that, I mean,
precisely.
yes, I want them to follow and know basic commands and things, but sometimes the dog does know what to do better. And what I think you're suggesting too is that they sensed something in that, you know, microsecond there, that something was different and had shifted within her. Do you think, I mean, so, I mean, that's with their handler. You think they also pick that up with the people they come in connection with?
I've seen a search dog, not one of my own dogs, but an air scent search dog working a drowning victim in a river who was below a dam. And it was too dangerous to send divers in, but they needed to know the location of the body, even though it was at the bottom of a dam, kind of circling. And the family, of course, was gathered on the riverbank. They knew their loved one was in the river. It was really a very sad set of circumstances. So the family had lawn chairs set up on the bank of the river, and one of the search dogs went and located where the body was along this low-head dam, and then simply went to his handler and said, right there, and the handler threw his tennis ball, or you know, his little reward for doing that. He took the tennis ball, he brought it back, he spit it at her feet, and then he went over to the line of chairs and he sat down in front of one of the chairs that had a young woman sitting in it, and he laid his head on her lap.
Wow.
It turned out to be the wife of the gentleman who drowned. And you know, it's the kind of thing you say, well, you know, how do you explain that? This dog had, there were probably 50 people there.
Right.
How did he know that was the person who needed his help the most? How did he know? I mean, he'd done his job as he was trained to do, but it went way beyond that.
Yeah.
So,
and this is probably too simplified, but I'm always fascinated with search and rescue. Is it similar to like what you see in the movie, and I hate to even use this, but as far as like sharing the scent of clothing for somebody, and then the dog will go out and try to match that scent in order to find them?
it's actually even simpler than that. Air scent search dogs simply find the next available generic human scent.
Okay.
We don't worry about who they find. If they find the wrong person, or they find another searcher, or they find someone else, you say, good dog, and send them out again. And they'll just keep going till they find the right person. Can they tell the difference? Yeah, sometimes they can. It depends on the circumstances.
Wow.
Now, it's interesting, I mean, your story was very powerful, and the thing that I've also often wondered is, we know that people give off scents and things when they're afraid or when they're in pain, and you know, my feeling is, and I'm not sure what yours is in regard to this, but your story kind of brought up the notion that the dog knew what to do and where to go and why he needed to go there, and part of it could be this connection that we can't necessarily smell or make sense of, but there's something below the surface that the dog knew to do what he needed to do. I mean, I mean, I see that too in practice, but I think your story was so powerful in the sense that out of 50 people, he could have gone to anybody, right? He could have gone to anybody, and what was it about that woman that made him go at that time? And we don't know. Right?
No,
but
we don't have any idea.
That's the wonder
That's
of it.
exactly right. I think we always want to think that people are the ones training the dogs.
Yes.
And I find that the more I observe animal behavior, the more I realize that they're the ones with the answers. All we have are the questions, which is kind of a wonderful thing, and a much